Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Came back from a little trip to the Baltic countries and full of the cold. So this really horrible cough that just annoys me all the time. And when I came back, I was down in Devon, obviously down there working, and then the snow came and it started to cause chaos and everything else down in England. So I thought, right, I'm not feeling that great anyway. I'll come back up to Scotland. So I drove up to Scotland yesterday. Woke up this morning. Bloody white outside there as well. And it's now causing chaos up here. Oh, so it is. So anyway, I kind of get away from the bloody snow, which is good fun, isn't it? Yeah. So I braved the elements. Well, I dodged all the other abandoned bloody cars because there's so many fucking people that think, oh, it's snowing. I'll just go out and take the wee car for a drive. Yeah, this is when they get ambition and ability confused. You know, the ambition is, I can do it. The ability is, no, you fucking can't. And then there's just cars abandoned everywhere. It's embarrassing. There's even people stuck at the fucking Asda car park, can't get out. You think, oh, good morons. Anyway, madness. But anyway, I had to go out because I needed to get food. Because I came up here and I didn't have any food. And I thought, right, well, I need to do some beer reviews as well because I like to kind of stagger. If I start, obviously I did some reviews when I was in the Baltic trip, but I don't want to just keep them doing one after the other, so I kind of like to mix them up. So I've been looking about. I was going to go to some other places, but just with the chaos with the traffic and abandoned cars and road conditions, I thought, oh, sod, I'll just go and see what's available locally rather than maybe go on a wee jaunt to try and find more interesting beers. But I found this one, and it's called Cairngorm Wildcat. And the thing that got me wasn't the name, because I didn't even really look at the name. I mean, I know the Cairngorm brewery anyway. I've had other stuff, we've reviewed stuff from the Cairngorm. In fact, if I remember rightly, it's not actually made the Cairngorms anymore. I'm sure it's made somewhere else now. I'm sure it's made under license somewhere else. But anyway, I'll find that out, but I'm sure it is. But anyway, the Cairngorm Wildcat. And the thing that got me was pure Scottish style. Not pure dead brilliant, that, no? No. Seriously. That's what the thing got me and thought, oh, here we go. And you got a big saltire on the bottle there, just in case you weren't sure where the fucking Cairngorms National Park was, you know? You needed a wee kind of hint. But anyway, and in the bottle, of course it will be. Nobody can come out like with the Willie Pish than the Scots. Name of Christ. Cairngorm Wildcat. A smooth, deep, amber-coloured beer with a complex malt, fruit and hop flavour. Strong and distinctive like the powerful, sleek Scottish wildcat it is named after. Load of pish. Anyway, seriously. Anyway, we'll soon see what it tastes like because fuck all you do with the wildcat. So let's not basically... how would you say... kind of insult, probably the best way. Besmirch is the probably besmirch the name of the Scottish Wildcat with a bottle of Cairngorm beer. Christ, seriously. So what's the facts of the matter? Because 5.1% alcohol. What was I doing? I was just answering some reviews yesterday, and there was one there that got me wondering, actually, got me thinking. And it's maybe this is what people go with. I'll start pouring this and I'm going to tell you this. It's kind of interesting one. Somebody who watched a video, now what video was it? A review of mine. Oh yeah, I did a French lager from Asda. And somebody commented on it yesterday. And they basically says that their kind of outlook of buying beer is price, alcohol content, then taste. And I'm just wondering, I wonder how many people are like that. I mean, I mean, that's fine. I mean, everybody's got their way of doing things, you know. If that what works for them, then that's fine, not a problem. Me, I'd rather go for taste than price. Alcohol content doesn't really play a game. I mean, if it's a nice beer, it's a nice beer. I never think about alcohol content really. I'll tell it, I'll talk about it and everything else, but it's not something I'm kind of really looking for. Yeah, it's a kind of amber coloured ale, half on your head. Not as prawn crackerish as I thought it would be. But yeah, and I'm just kind of thinking, I wonder how many people kind of go down that kind of route that think that well, I'm not saying think, that believe that's the best way of doing it and what works for them. You know, price, I can understand that. And then alcohol content, well, I suppose, you know, bang for your buck from that point of view. And maybe that's one of the reasons why these macro lagers and all these other types of beers, like, you know, you get in the supermarket, market lagers in the pubs, and of course, kind of these kind of cheaper lagers that you'll get in Lidl and Aldi as well. Maybe that's why they're so popular, is because people go with price. People have a kind of, maybe it's because how many they consume. So basically they look at alcohol content, so of course price over alcohol content. So they're thinking, well, I'm looking for beer in this type of price range with this type of kind of alcohol content, because then I know how many I can drink and everything else. And then maybe like the taste is a kind of a third kind of part of the thought process. And I probably would say probably quite a lot of people kind of think that way when they're looking at these type of beers. And I suppose I can understand, because you've got to think is a lot of people drink for different reasons. I mean, I had a friend, I'll have a wee sniff at this first, but I had a friend who was just going to discuss this. It's an interesting point, you know, the reasons why people drink. Smell-wise, I'm getting malt, which is good. Getting malt, not really getting any fruitiness. Just getting some nice kind of dark caramel kind of notes. No hops, bit of grain, but it's nearly all malt in the aroma. So let's see what it tastes like. Right. Anyway, interesting. That's a bit interesting. But anyway, now when I said I had a friend, no, I've actually still got the friend, actually, because we're still friends. But going back when we used to go out for drinking when we were younger, in our days, he would only drink for effect. He used to say to me that I don't really like the taste of alcohol, really, to be totally honest. So I only drink for effect. In other words, he only drinks to get pissed. And there's a lot of times where he's not looking to get pissed or not wanting to get pissed. And this was the time, because we just moved out and, I'll have a wee beer, you want one? No, I'll just have something else, non-alcoholic. Because that's what we work with. If we were just having one or two, you know, just a kind of a more kind of a sociable drink, then he's not interested. He'll have something that's actually non-alcoholic. But if we're out on a Friday or Saturday night and we're having it large, right good session, yep, he's on the cider at the time, or the lager and that, and he's making it like buggery, as if there's no tomorrow. And that's what he did. I think his drinking kind of attitude has changed over the years, but at the time that's how he thought. I'm not really a big fan of alcohol. I'm not really kind of a big fan of the taste. So I just drink for effect. And there's probably quite a lot of people out there that are the same. They're just drinking for effect, or to a certain degree for effect, or they're drinking to get their money's worth from that point of view as well. And they want that kind of kick or kind of hit. They want to drink to a certain amount to get a kind of certain hit or kick, which again I can understand, because a lot of people are like that, and especially younger people as well. I know, Jesus, what I look for now in alcohol compared to when I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I mean, I liked beer, but my kind of flavour profiles have kind of changed over the years. But even then, I was unusual because everybody was always at my age group. They're always on the lagers, and I'm always on the dark beers. I liked that. The problem was when you went to nightclubs, you couldn't really get dark beer, so you had to suffer, the Budweisers and Millers, and that's probably where I drunk most of my lagers, was in kind of nightclubs, because you couldn't get back. You couldn't get a pint of heavy or a dark beer, you know. So it's either that or long vodkas. That was a popular thing at the time, long vodkas and all that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking maybe that's why a lot of these lagers are so popular, is just because they tick the box of what people want: price, alcohol content, and then flavour. Well, it's not such a big consideration as the other two. Whereas, of course, I'm reviewing beers first and foremost on taste. And then the budget side, the price comes in. And well, for me, it's not important about the alcohol content. Maybe it's for other people, and that's why I give the details about the alcohol content and things like that. Excuse me. But yeah, it's quite kind of, I think this is one of the big problems we forget. We think everybody's going to be the same as ourselves, because obviously that's not true. And sometimes we look at it in case that, well, maybe by doing these reviews I'm maybe going to educate somebody. But that was my initial thought when I started to do these reviews. I never thought, well, I'm doing it to educate people, because that's a bit of a kind of a anal retentive up your own arse kind of attitude. You can learn from me, boys and girls, fuck off, would be the response. And I would expect that response, because if I was sitting the other side, I'd be going, fuck off as well, you arrogant bastard, But that was never my point. My point was a case as though to go on a journey to try and find kind of beers that I liked and try beers that I hadn't tried before. So it was more of a journey for me, as well as a kind of an education for me, and bringing you along for the ride. There's beers that I know from my past and everything else that I can share with you, that I can give you, my view on them as somebody who's drunk them in the past and now drinking them now in a review, and notices there's a difference and things have changed from the recipe that I was basically used to drink compared to this recipe now, because it has obviously changed, because it doesn't taste the same and things like that, as well as also trying some new beers. I'm quite a fan with quite a lot of different styles of beers, but just because you're a fan with certain styles of beers, nobody's had all the beers in the world. And while we've tried a lot of them, there's still plenty out there to try, and that's the reason why I did it. But it was to come along and also give you an idea of, well, I've never had this beer before, I'm not really enjoying it, or I'm really enjoying it, and kind of give you an idea of, well, this might be a beer you might like or not like, or whatever. So it wasn't a case of me trying to educate people. And I think some people feel that certain people need educated because, well, if they're drinking macro lagers, they need educated because they're not drinking good beer. But if you're looking at it from a taste point of view, then yes, it's not the best beer in the world. But if you look at it from a point of view of price and alcohol content, maybe not so much alcohol content now, because of course a lot of these macro breweries are dropping their kind of alcohol content of these beers to try and kind of obviously make it still as profitable, with the change in the kind of duty laws in the UK compared to alcohol content, especially of beers. And yeah, I think it's the case as though people are going for what's important. And just because these things aren't important, maybe for the likes of me and other people, doesn't mean they're not valid reasons to be important to other people. And again, you've got to understand how I drink is different to how other people drink, and vice versa, and everything else. And it'd be arrogant for me to say, well, the way I drink is definitely the best way to drink, compared to other people, And you think, fuck off. The way I drink actually is the best way for me. How you drink, I'm not fucking interested. And again, we have to look at it. I think we have to be not so arrogant. Yes, we can turn around and say that, yes, macro lagers aren't the best beers, flavour-wise, production-wise, everything else. But if they're ticking the boxes for the likes of what people maybe class as important for them, which is price and alcohol content, then people, as I say, well, what works for you works for you. And that's all that really matters. Who gives a fuck what anybody else thinks, you know? Because at the end of the day, drinking beer is to provide pleasure. Now, whether you're getting pleasure from enjoying a really nice, flavourable pint, or whether you get the pleasure because, hey, you're getting what you want for a price you can afford, and maybe getting the alcohol kick that you're looking for, you know. And I think we have to kind of open up to say that, well, there's a lot of people that drink these lagers, and they drink them for the reason is because they want cheap alcohol, and it works for them, and it suits them. And there's more people doing that are sitting there, you know, sailing over the lovely flavour of a nice ale. And that's just the reality of our living. We're the minority, not the majority. And in this world right now, I think we nearly have to start respecting the majorities a hell of a lot more. And fuck the minorities to a certain degree, because this is one of the big problems we have in this world right now, is we're spending far too much time licking the backside of the minorities and not spending enough time recognising the importance of the majority and what they want and what they need. There you go. How did that go from beer to kind of something kind of apolitical? I don't know. But anyway, it's a kind of interesting beer, this. As we remember to get back to it. There's a bitterness there, but it's a strange bitterness. There's almost a kind of slightly pininess to it. I think there is kind of pininess to it or something like that. 5.1%, 500ml bottle. Now here's Asda. Asda's great. I've actually got the receipt here because I bought this in Asda. You're out of the EU. And I was looking and I wonder what prices they are. And then I thought, I bought 4 beers. So I did. So I looked at the receipt. And the first beer is listed as ale. Second beer is listed as beer. Third beer is listed as ale. And fourth beer is listed as beer. So I was looking at it thinking, which one's which? So I've got the choice of ale, beer. Fucking Asda. Maybe they put the fucking name of the beer or even something associated with the name of the beer. But no, it's ale, beer. Fucking idiot. So the cheapest one was £8.25 and the most expensive one was £2.35. And there was one at £2.25 and one at £2.10. So take your fucking pick. I don't know how much it costs. I'll have to look it up, but fucking arseholes, there they are. Stupid. So see, everything in this world is just shit, isn't it? It's not a bad beer. There's a nice bit of malt there. There's a nice bit of flavour in the mid-tongue. Bit of a strange finish though. There is a slightly kind of bitterness there, but it's not a kind of normal kind of bitterness that I like. It's like that kind of pininess you get with kind of citrus hops, you know, certain citrus hops, but there's no citrus there at all. Well, not what I'm getting anyway. Is it that kind of slightly pithy, kind of piney kind of bitterness at the back end, which is annoying me. Because everything else is actually tastes quite nice, and you're just like, who the hell is that coming from? And the thing I get from this, the malt profile and everything else, which I've started to notice quite a lot now. The malt profile with quite a lot of Scottish beers emulates the malt profile you're getting of an English ale. So this has got the kind of malt profile of an English amber ale. But what does kind of make it Scottish, which I always find very strange, is the carbonation. The carbonation is just a little bit more than it needs to be. So it's slightly overcarbonated. So it changes the mouthfeel. So it has the kind of flavour profile to a certain degree as an English ale, but doesn't have the mouthfeel. You're thinking, what's that about? I don't know why. Strange. But overall, it's not too bad, apart from that back end's a bit strange. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not my first choice. It's not my first choice of how I'd want this beer to kind of finish. And it wouldn't be my second, it wouldn't be my fucking third. You know what I mean? Ninth or 10th, maybe? Yeah. Let's break down the flavours. Right. Starts off, nice bit of malt there. Some nice little kind of caramel tones. Not as much as any kind of toffee tones, but you're getting kind of dual layer, so you're getting some kind of lighter caramel and you're getting slightly kind of darker caramel kind of tones of the malt there. Bit of grain. A little bit of sweetness, not too much. It's kind of a nice controlled sweetness. Moves on to the kind of mid-term. And yeah, the flavours are just kind of settled down. And they're quite nice. You get the nice kind of malt, you get the nice grain, you get a nice little bit of underlying sweetness. Not really picking up any fruit, and it's going to kick off in a minute. Older. Excuse me. Told you it was overcarbonated. I'm telling you, it's just sitting right there. Sorry about that. Buggers that they are. Jesus, it's CO2 fucking cheap now or something like that. Am I missing something that they can just, well, fuck it, loads of the bloody stuff is fucking billowing out everywhere. Just get more fat into the beer so we can get fucking rid of it. Is that the kind of thing that's happening? I don't know. Strange. But, yeah. And it's just nice in the mid-tongue. And then, just as you get near the kind of, past the middle, you start getting kind of little kind of accents of bitterness, and you think, no, here it comes. And just as it gets near the end of the mid-tongue, you start getting this kind of piney bitterness appearing from fucking nowhere, and you're thinking, what the hell's that about? And yeah, it gives you that kind of reaction into the kind of back of the mouth and aftertaste, right at the back of the mouth, it's kind of catching you. Like, that's bloody pine. I mean, that's what we're going through. That's bloody pine aftertaste. Where the fuck has that come from? And yeah, it kind of lingers a bit after that. Because every other flavour kind of dissipates and you're just kind of left with this kind of slightly piney bitterness in the back of the mouth, in the back of the throat. Excuse me. And yeah, it's bloody dreadful. To a degree, because I just wouldn't want a beer to finish that way, especially when I could understand if there's citrus there and everything else, you can maybe expect, you get that kind of little prior warning, a wee heads up. But no, God, this is going to kick back at me again. Here we go. It's like sitting there. Look, excuse me, sorry about that. Bloody, told you it was overcarbonated. Arseholes. But yeah. For me, to a certain degree, it spoiled what started off as really quite a nice, pleasant beer. Apart from the overcarbonation, I thought, well, I can forgive the overcarb. Well, I thought I could. Excuse me. Jesus God. I thought I could basically forgive the overcarbonation, but it seems to be the overcarbonation's a lot worse than I initially perceived it was going to be. But yes, but yeah, the pininess, and well, if you've watched my videos in the past, I'm not a big fan of pine. I can cope with citrus and everything else, but pine fucking annoys me, really does. I just class it as fucking toilet cleaner. I'm sorry, but the taste of pine is toilet cleaner. Nobody sits there and fucking nose in a fucking pine coat. That gives you a pish. And I know people that make Pine needle tea. But they're arseholes. I mean, seriously, there's better things you could be spending your time drinking than pine needle fucking tea. Oh, I've watched them. I watched all these survival arseholes and fucking bushcraft, they call it. Bushcraft. Fucking loony bastards, that's what they are. On fucking YouTube. Oh, bushcraft, look, building a whole fucking structure out of half a tree. Marvellous. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some nice pine needle fucking tea because I'm a wanker. Some of them are actually married, which surprised me. Anyway, yeah, it's annoying. A wee bit. Yeah, right. It's quite a nice malt. I just feel that it's like annoying me because the malt's actually really quite nice. The malt kind of level and flavours and that are really quite nice. And it starts off just so promising and then finishes in such a very pure and strange way. And yeah, what would I give it a 10? There's a question. It's quite kind of sad because it did start off with so much promise and then it just starts to kind of lose it at the back end. And God, I can still taste the bloody stuff. I would I give it a 10? Would I drink it again? No, I wouldn't drink it again. Would I want to? Well, to be totally honest, up until the middle of the mid-tongue, yes, it was actually quite pleasant and quite nice and I was really enjoying it. Once we got past that point, it just kind of went, you know. So half of the beer is actually very nice. The other half of the beer is, well, jury's out in that one, put it that way. Bushcrafters would like it, you know. Well, yes, we could. Oh, I've got a bottle of this tonight. I won't have to basically make some pine needle tea and burn my genitals in the fucking fire instead. But anyway, yes. If it didn't have that kind of back end, it would have probably maybe a 6.5. With that back end and the overcarbonation, which is now, I mean, I've hardly drawn it. Excuse me. It's still coming at me. It's like, oh, Jesus God. It's like being in the ring with fucking Mike Tyson in his good days. Could you imagine that an embarrassment? Imagine me taking a loss to that fucking, is it Jake Paul? Arsehole. I mean, seriously. I know Tyson's getting a good payday, but that's embarrassing. I mean, I know he's in his 60s and everything else. What's he doing in there? Arse. I mean, seriously, does your own reputation and everything else not matter anymore, Mr. Tyson? Come on, Mike, seriously. Yeah, and I've got to admit, I didn't watch the fight, but I sure as hell wanted Tyson to knock the fucking 7 bells of shit out of that bastard, Mr. Paul. Because he just looks like a bastard. I mean, he's got that face you just want to keep on punching, wouldn't you? And apparently he's classed as a professional boxer now. They're actually classing that FUD as a professional boxer. I mean, seriously, for fuck's sake. Christ's sake, you know. If he's a professional boxer, I'm a fucking ballerina. You don't see me in a tutu, fucking trust me. Anyway. So yeah, instead of 6.5, because of that back end and the overcarbonation, I'm going to have to give it a 5. And I'm probably being quite generous because although I'm saying it's an average beer, to me it's not an average beer. To me it's probably below average because of that back end and the overcarbonation. I could overlook the overcarbonation if it had a nicer finish. I could have done. But it doesn't. But I'm going to give it a 5 because other people might appreciate or might not have such an adverse reaction to kind of a pine flavoured finish. But yeah, so it's 5 out of 10. It's 5.1%. It's 500ml bottle. It could cost between £2.25 and £2.35 to £1.85. Anywhere in between that, fuck knows, because Asda can't actually give me the name of the beers anymore. The twat. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.